Most people talk about success like it's a checklist. Wake up early. Read. Hustle. Grind. Post your wins. Repeat. But a Sigma man's habits aren't built for display, they're built for dominance in silence. He doesn't announce, doesn't chase approval, and doesn't perform discipline to look disciplined. His habits are invisible to most, yet undeniable in effect. They're not loud, flashy, or even glamorous. They're built from solitude, forged in pressure, and sharpened in silence. The most dangerous habits are the ones no one sees but everyone feels the effects of. He doesn't move to impress, he moves to evolve. His consistency isn't for attention, it's for control. The world praises routines, he perfects rituals. Every action, every decision, every silence is calibrated for purpose. And while most people confuse productivity with movement, the Sigma masters stillness, the ability to stay unshaken when everyone else is desperate to be seen. His strength doesn't come from following trends or mimicking what's popular. It comes from doing what most people won't even notice, habits that look small but produce dominance over time. These habits shape not just his day, but his entire presence. They create gravity, the kind that pulls people in without effort. But here's the truth. Most men will never sustain them. Because these habits require something modern life destroys: discipline without audience. You don't rise to the level of motivation. You fall to the level of your habits. Let's break down the 10 habits that prove someone isn't pretending to be Sigma. 1. You protect your time. Like it's blood, time is the most powerful currency, yet most people spend it like pocket change. The Sigma treats it like oxygen, non-negotiable. Every hour has weight. Every minute has direction. He doesn't waste it trying to convince others of his worth. He invests it in mastery. That's why he doesn't overshare, doesn't linger in small talk, and doesn't chase people who drain his energy. He measures people by how they respect his time, not by how often they demand it. When you value your time, people either rise to meet your standards or fade trying. Time protection isn't arrogance, it's awareness. He knows most distractions come disguised as opportunities. Meetings, gossip, validation, they all look harmless until they eat entire years. The Sigma understands that wasting time isn't just losing hours, it's losing identity. So he guards it like a weapon, and the world quickly learns. Access to him must be earned, not given. 2. You move in silence but build in public results. The Sigma doesn't broadcast his grind. He doesn't announce every move. His progress speaks when the time comes. Most people shout their intentions to feel significant. He lets results do the talking. His silence isn't secrecy, it's strategy. The fewer people who know, the harder it is for others to interfere. Loud goals attract noise. Quiet work builds empires. He doesn't need constant feedback loops to stay consistent. His reward isn't attention, it's completion. The Sigma knows talkers drain momentum, doers multiply it. By the time others realize what he's building, it's already unshakable. He doesn't owe the world updates. He owes himself progress. 3. You control your reactions. Like a trained weapon. The Sigma's strength isn't in aggression, it's in restraint. He knows losing control is the fastest way to lose power. While most men explode at disrespect, he dissects it. He responds only when it serves purpose, never when it feeds emotion. That composure unnerves people, it's power without performance. Reaction is free fuel for the manipulative. Silence is starvation. He's not detached, he's deliberate. Every pause is calculation. He lets people reveal themselves before he decides whether they deserve a response. Emotional discipline isn't about being cold, it's about staying untouchable. He's mastered the hardest habit of all, controlling his inner state when the world is trying to hijack it. 4. You study more than you speak. While the world screams for attention, the Sigma collects data. He listens, observes, absorbs. His silence isn't emptiness, it's gathering power. Every room becomes a classroom. Every conversation a field test. He learns from others' mistakes without needing to make them himself. The man who studies in silence learns what the loud never hear. He reads between words, decodes body language, and notices patterns others miss. His edge isn't luck, it's awareness sharpened by observation. Most people speak to fill silence. He uses silence to fill knowledge. This habit turns his mind into a weapon quietly lethal, perpetually armed. 5. You maintain discipline when no one's watching. Here's where most people fall. They're consistent only when visible. But the Sigma's discipline isn't performance, it's programming. He doesn't need accountability partners or applause. His routine runs even in silence, even when tired, even when no one will ever know. Character is who you are in the dark when no one's keeping score. He trains when others rest. He works when motivation dies. He doesn't negotiate with comfort. That's what separates him from dreamers. The Sigma's discipline isn't driven by reward, it's driven by standard. This is habit number 5, the rare one. Few possess discipline without witness. It's what makes him unstoppable, because self-respect is his only audience. 6. You don't chase connections. You attract alignment. Networking, social climbing, and people-pleasing are foreign languages to him. The Sigma doesn't collect people, he connects with purpose. He knows forced bonds rot quickly, so he stays still, authentic, and watchful. The right people always find him because truth acts like a beacon. When you move with purpose, you attract others moving in the same direction. He values quality over quantity. His circle is small but fortified. No fake smiles, no surface loyalty. Just mutual respect and aligned purpose. This habit of alignment filters his world naturally. He never chases, he attracts what's meant to orbit him. 7. You seek isolation to refuel, not to escape. The Sigma doesn't run from the world, he resets from it. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's maintenance. While others dread being alone, he craves it. It's where clarity lives, where noise dies, and where strength regenerates. A man who can be alone has mastered the art of control. Isolation isn't punishment, it's precision. In solitude, he evaluates motives, realigns focus, and clears emotional debris. He understands that presence in chaos requires peace and silence. So he isolates not because he hates people, but because he values his mental architecture. The world runs on chaos. He runs on recalibration. 8. You speak with purpose, not impulse. Words carry weight, and the Sigma treats them like bullets used only when necessary. He doesn't overshare, doesn't gossip, doesn't react verbally to every emotion. His communication is surgical, every word has intent. Weak men speak to be heard. Strong men speak to be understood. He prefers clarity over volume. A single sentence from him carries more power than paragraphs of noise. This habit makes his voice command attention because when he finally speaks, people listen. He saves his words for impact, not approval. 9. You keep commitments like sacred contracts. Most people overpromise and underdeliver. The Sigma does the opposite. If he says he'll do it, it's done. He values his word more than his reputation, because one builds the other. Breaking a promise feels like betrayal to himself, not just others. Consistency is a religion for those who respect themselves. He doesn't commit easily. But once he does, it's absolute. This habit builds trust without trying. While others chase credibility, he earns it quietly. The world notices reliability more than rhetoric, and his consistency becomes the foundation of his influence. 10. You never stop evolving, even after winning. For the Sigma, success isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. Comfort is his only enemy. He knows the moment you stop growing, decay begins. So he keeps reinventing himself: skills, mindset, purpose. His hunger never sleeps. The moment you think you've arrived, you start to rot. Evolution isn't about chasing more, it's about becoming better. He adapts, refines, improves. The world tries to celebrate him, but he moves before they can define him. That's why he's always 2 steps ahead. His habits aren't temporary, they're evolutionary. He's not chasing perfection. He's chasing progress without end. On a final note, these habits aren't about dominance over others, they're about dominance over self. The Sigma male's power doesn't come from rebellion, It comes from refinement. Each habit is a blade, silent, sharp, and disciplined. Together, they forge a man who doesn't need validation because his results are undeniable. He doesn't perform greatness. He practices it. While the world obsesses over trends and talk, he builds a legacy through rhythm daily, deliberate, invisible. You can't fake these habits because they require endurance, not ego. And that's what makes him rare. Not the label. Not the mystery. But the mastery that happens when no one's watching,